timed it, if he placed it correctly, but he couldn't afford to spend the time. He just needed to get those storms off. More storms going off again, kill off some Hydras and the Lurkers. Bisu is barely trying to fight this off, barely able to fight this off rather. Fight back those Hydralisks. There's not quite enough forces there, so Bisu holds this time, and the counterattack by Jaedong. He's got another shuttle out. Oh no, sorry, it's the same shuttle. The shuttle did survive. So, but Jaedong has his 5 bases though, and you can see he's transferring some drones to that 6 o'clock base. He's got some colonies set up. He's going to try and defend that pretty well. We saw him producing drones earlier. And Bisu hasn't really taken a lot of drones, but Jaedong has been pretty low econ this whole game though in general. Every time they show one of his bases, he doesn't have a ton of drones at his bases, which means they're going to last for a while, but it also means he doesn't have a ton of income. So a little bit, I'm saying it's kind of hard to tell who's ahead in econ now that Bisu's gotten up that 4th base. He's going to mine out very soon at his 3rd base. So I think Bisu's ahead for the moment, but you know, in like a couple minutes he's going to mine out one of his bases, and then it'll be back to circa even, depending on how many drones Jaedong is making. Although Jaedong probably is making a bunch of drones right now. He knows that Bisu has to play defensively. Jaedong loaded up a couple lurkers in that Overlord. They're going to have to get dropped out before that Overlord dies. He's going to try and run in, and that would have been really, really good actually. Oh, is he going to? Oh, both the Corsairs go down. Both the Corsairs go down. He's probably not dumb enough to put those lurkers in that Overlord, though. 5 hit points left on it. A single Dragoon strike, or anything strike would take out that Overlord. Anyway, so Bisu looks like he's actually pushing out for another attack, figuring that Jaedong has been droning up. He might be vulnerable. I mean, he hasn't been making all drones. He has been making some army, obviously. That's one of the most amazing things about watching pro gamers, is that they somehow manage to produce a bunch of units for their econ and for their army at the same time. They always have a lot more army than you expect them to have. So a nice little excuse me, drop here. Some cracklings and a defiler going in there. They're going to take out that base very easily, but Bisu doesn't really need that base anymore. He's going to have to defend his 3rd base though in that vicinity. Swarm going down, lurkers going down. He needs to protect those reavers there. He barely picks up his reavers in time, gets them back behind those dragoons. He needed to get them up a little bit earlier. He almost lost them. It was lucky for him that Jaedong didn't take advantage of that little slip up. There's lurkers underneath, but he stormed the crap out of the lurkers underneath the swarm, so Bisu is going to be able to push through this. Jaedong having another army here. He's going to scourge that shuttle, so the Reavers are going to slow down, but the High Templar obviously can go pretty fast. Again, Bisu looking pretty confident there, almost as just a lingering hint of a smile on Bisu's face as he pushes slowly into the main choke of Jaedong's 3 bases. He's pushing in slowly and steadily. He's got mostly Dragoons left though, so the swarms are going to be very effective, Dragoons and on Archons. Now some Zealots coming in to help underneath that swarm. The Reavers as well. The Scarabs are going to be going off under the swarm. He does pick off one of the Reavers. It is underneath the swarm now, though. Reaver underneath swarm is not a good thing for the Zerg. Not a good thing at all. It looks like he's going to crawl out of that swarm. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But Jaedong is in trouble now. He might lose his 3rd base here, and if that happens, he's basically going to lose the game. If he loses this, well, he could hold this and then still come back actually with his extra bases. He's taking another base in the bottom left here, but it's going to come down to the wire. Oh man, huge Scarab, 25 kills on that Reaver. Oh, and the Reaver does a little bit of a shimmy, a shuffle just at the last moment before it does die. Looks like Jaedong is actually, maybe he's not going to fight this off. Several Dragoons, more Zealots streaming in actually to clinch the deal that he is going to lose that 3rd base. Again, not many minerals left there, so it's not going to matter too much for Jaedong. What's going to matter if he starts breaking into Jaedong's main and starts killing tech buildings, and oh man, storms on those idle units just waiting around for a chance to meet up with other units and go in there. And I think Jaedong is going to be able to spam cracklings at this and possibly hold this off, but maybe not, because you could see on the minimap orange lines crossing the map diagonally towards this location. Tons of Speed Zealots and Templar making their way across the map to meet up with this, and those Dragoons are still alive. There's probably tons of kills on those Dragoons, 26 kills on the Archon from so many High Templar kills, and Bisu is now, Jaedong is now cutting off reinforcements, which is a good idea. He needs to cut off those reinforcements and kill them on their way in, but Bisu is now in his main base, killing his hive, taking out the Evo chamber as well. It looks like he's going to lose his hive. Oh man, he's actually targeting the spawning pool first. An easier building to kill. Hive still has 500 hit points left on him. I'm surprised he didn't kill that off. Although it doesn't matter too much because he probably has all of his Hive Tech buildings still up somewhere else. And it doesn't matter. All the buildings go down. Hive, spawning pool, spire, Evo chambers, everything dead. Everything in the main base dead, dead, dead. And let's see if Jaedong got some of those tech buildings back up again. I don't think he did. What is he? I don't know why he didn't. It's like the first thing you do when your main is dying is rebuild the buildings that you're gonna need. He's got a pool and a den around the map, but he didn't rebuild a defiler mound. I haven't seen where his defiler mound was, but it may have been in his main. But your spire, you want to get that down before your lair goes down, your hive, because you won't be able to rebuild them otherwise. So that's a little bit sloppy by Jaedong. Hopefully he's going to build another lair at some point. But this is desperate for Jaedong, though. It looks like he was also just getting up tons of sunken colonies in order to defend against this attack that is going to, once it's done with his main, is going to go up to his expansions. Jaedong is in huge trouble. Burrow that lurker, buddy. Burrow it, burrow it, burrow it, burrow the lurker. Finally burrows the lurker, but there's tons of sun colonies there, but they're not doing as much good as they should. I don't know if he's an observer there, and that may be the key to Jaedong's salvation, temporary salvation. But no, a storm goes off right on that lurker, and it must have gotten hit or splashed or something like that, because the lurker does go down. Jaedong's going to lose this base as well. Jaedong is now in horrible, deep trouble. He's still got, what the heck? Those cracklings are still alive? How are those cracklings still alive? Maybe they're different cracklings, but those cracklings that took out his 10 o'clock base, probably the same lings, now in his main base, killing some buildings there, and that's really what Jaedong needed. He needed that. Actually, he needed a lot more than that, but it's good of him to do that counterattack at the same time. It looks like Jaedong has actually built up a new base in the bottom left-hand corner. He's just built a ton of hatcheries, building his den again. His third Hydralisk den, or maybe his second Hydralisk den. I'm not sure if the original was there. And doing a lurker drop too. So Jaedong, wow, Jaedong clinging, absolutely clinging to dear life here. And what is going on here? Reaver in his base, a Templar as well, storming a few drones. That is horrible. This is exactly what Jaedong does not need right now. And even though that wasn't like too effective of a drop, it doesn't matter. Bisu, if he can do anything to keep Jaedong distracted, it'll be enough. And here he is coming in. He's going to drop that Reaver in behind the last remaining base. No, the Templar goes off and actually kills just a couple Hydralisks. He's going to leave him there, apparently. Very, very interesting. But yeah, Bisu is in complete control of this game. Jaedong is basically on the edge of the cliff. He's fallen off the edge of the cliff. He's hanging onto a single root sticking out of the edge of the cliff face, barely holding on for dear life, trying to scramble his way back up the edge of the cliff by doing small lurker drops, by doing little crackling drops. Crackling so cost effective at this point that he can actually stay in the game a little bit just with little Zergling drops. And here he is running into the main again, and he's got lurkers in the main still. Bisu has lost a lot of his production facilities, so it may almost come down to a elimination race of sorts. Both players' armies are clenching down. Both players it's as if they're standing next to each other and grabbing each other's throats, and instead of trying to remove the hand from their own throat, they're just trying to choke